Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to your poetic interlude. My name is Emeka Ozurumba, and we start off with the quote of the day, which says, "Violence is not the bulwark of true democracy." Today, we're going to, or let's just recap on last week where something great really happened, because when I was talking about two stallions and a shield, a great, let me just say, Nigerian entity walked in, which was Partai Wakimumi. We designed the national flag, which is so great, and our country is what it is today because of acts of nobility like that. So I think we should really up our patriotism toward Nigeria. The poem I'll be presenting to you today is called Ballot Exhalation, and here it goes. The forgotten boot belched in jocund, less sudorific. Happy I am forgotten and not worn today. The polling boots can be burned today, and the svelte merino canvas went also. When the acid subsides to this shudder spa, is better at home where I lay. Later, clockwise, on the boots were caterwaul protestants, ignominy in the conflagration and biased jejune, and the citation of the ballots in Dante's Inferno, soared as all legs scampered as termites in the minds of thugs accomplished to zoological pretend in the shabby electoral oasis. Anti-clockwise sign back home, the conversation between legworks. I was so happy to be on such a pleasure boat soporific. Boatswain and chargering also today was withered. I know an election are made of pyromaniacs. I wish I had not seen the Beatrice event's cremation. This poem talks about, it's an allegorical poem, which talks about two shoes. One was a svelte merino canvas and one was a boot. When the boot woke up, it found out that the new shoe, which was the canvas, had been won by its master to an election. So he was happy. Because from previous antecedences, elections ended up in conflagration and fire and all that. So it was like, oh, thank God I'm not going there today. And to just like post on what happened, the election was really ended up in violence and everything. So at the end of the day, when the svelte merino canvas came back, it was like, oh God, today was so sudorific. That's tedious. He had to run everywhere. He had to scamper with the master. So the other boot said, he knows. That's how elections are. So that's an allegorical and metaphorical poem, but it leads us to some things that we could say about our country. One, we have a catharsis expunge cambium. Yes, during elections, we see catharsis in the wrong direction of violence, which should not be. And we notice that this is a recurrent decimal in Nigeria. So during elections, you just see that there's just so much talk about it. Then after elections, everybody goes out to just say, okay, we're forgotten about the process, and it happens over and over again. We shouldn't let that happen. It also leads us to a funambulist Udema. Yes, we can see cicatrices and pus on Nigeria because people treading on thin lines of hate always end up living bigotry in the hearts of all men. So we could see that this is also where people pick on the vulnerables in the society because they look for people that don't have anything to do, that are poor, that are destabilized, and they use them as their tools. And they use them to vandalize the volition of true democracy. We shouldn't allow that. We should make sure that we strengthen our democracy with the tenets of democracy. We should use bravura, bravado, and camaraderie at patriotism. We should not just be vices and tools for ignominy. Also, we can see that people use this logically to transfer mandates. Because when you attack the threshold of a place where, okay, it's an opposition, you change the volition of those people who wanted something else to be there. So you've invariably changed the course of true democracy. And true democracy cannot happen in a situation where we're all running helter-skelter. So please, I want us to address this. I want us to take this upon ourselves. I don't want it to be when election comes, we now start saying, okay, we have to make these amendments in our laws, we have to do this. No, let's take the right steps towards this projection. And I'm sure at the end of the day, Nigeria is going to be a better country with our help altogether. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to the sports segment of the weekend show. My name is Odiri Akpan. Like I always love to start with a quote. I start with Manchester United midfielder and World Cup winner Paul Pogba. And he simply says, I do what I love. Now, a lot of Manchester United fans and people who were angry with Paul Pogba last week will say, oh, you do what you love. So you missed a penalty on purpose or something. And of course, my heart goes out to Paul Pogba. He suffered a lot of racist abuse on social media during the week from Monday's penalty miss in the match for Manchester United. So that is the inspirational quote for this morning. But we're starting the show on a sad note. During the week, we lost some great stakeholders of football. Yes, Super Falcons, as Nigerians, a former Super Falcons player, Ifeanyi Stephanie Chejine, she died after a brief illness last week. And also former Ghanaian international Gino Agogo, who played for Nottingham Forest and also Bristol Rovers and Queen's Park Rangers. He died after some brief illness. We heard that Agogo had suffered stroke in 2015, and then we lost him during the week. Also, my heart goes out to the family of Chief Oyuki Obaseki, former NPFL chairman. He died during the week also. So I pray that God will grant the families the fortitude to bear this loss. Okay, so we move straight to stories that made the rounds in the world of football. In the last 7 days, transfers are still on, although it's done in England, but we have some transfer news for you guys this morning. Frank Ribery, who left Bayern Munich in June after 12 years at the club, he joined Fiorentina after signing a 2-year deal worth about £4.1 million every season. And of course, away from Frank Ribery, we see also that Jadon Sancho, the Borussia Dortmund winger and England international, has signed he agreed a new contract with Borussia Dortmund. It is now worth about £190,000 every week for Sancho, including bonuses. To me, that is a real big step up for him and an upgrade. Everyone had thought they were going to double his wages to about £80,000, but this is like blowing someone straight out of water. £190,000. So away from Sancho, let's go straight to, there we go. David Zappacosta has joined AC Milan from Chelsea on a 6-month loan deal. Now, don't forget that this loan can actually be extended to a 1-year loan deal till the end of the 2019-2020 season. Chelsea also confirmed this week that the 27-year-old fullback has signed a contract extension with the club to keep him at Stamford Bridge till June 2022. So that's all for Zappacosta. Let's go to Italy, to Turkey, I beg your pardon, where Daniel Sturridge has joined Trabzonspor. He joined Mikel in Trabzonspor. He signed a 3-year deal because he became a free agent after leaving Liverpool. No details about how much the deal cost or what he will be paid weekly, but he has gone to Trabzonspor. So away from there, also we have Leicester City striker Islam Slimani, who has joined French club AS Monaco on a season-long loan deal. We hear that the French club AS Monaco also has an option to, of course, make the deal permanent at the end of the 2019-2020 season. So kudos to Slimani for that one. Let's go straight away from Slimani. We're going to of course, Juventus boss Maurizio Sarri, who will miss the team's first 2 games of the season. The Italian Serie A resumes today, and Sarri will not be in the dugout for Juventus for the games against Parma today and Napoli next week because he is being treated for pneumonia. Now, the 60-year-old had missed last weekend's friendly for Juventus against Triestina because of what the club's medical team thought was actually flu, but they found out later that it's pneumonia. So we hope he, of course, recovers in time. So those are the news. Of course, there were goals scored last week in the various leagues, and yes, we saw goals from Sadio Mane, but the one I loved the most was the one from Odiri, who scored and ensured that Barcelona started their new La Liga season on a losing note. Let's take a look at the goals of the week.
Wijnaldum, now Milner into Mane. Sends it into the back of the net against his former club. And it's the first time he's scored against Southampton in 6 appearances.
The drop of the shoulder. Trying to tee up Douglas Luiz instead. Great goal! It's an absolute crackerjack from the Brazilian. And it's teed up what could be one heck of a finale at Villa Park. His day started in pretty grim fashion.
Willian throws in. Away by Florian Kainz. Arnold's volley! Oh, that is outstanding! Maxi
ראול גרסיה עם קאפה אל הרחבה. אדוריס! איזה שער!
Beautiful goals. We expect more to be scored today, tomorrow, and we get you the feedback on the goals of the week again for next week. Let's take a look at the fixtures in England. First kickoff, though, will be Chelsea away to Norwich City at 12:30 today. Now, the big game has to be Liverpool against Arsenal at 5:30. Now, don't forget that Manchester United will take on Crystal Palace at 3 p.m. And tomorrow, we see Wolverhampton Wanderers taking on Burnley and Spurs up against Newcastle United. Bournemouth will take on Manchester City also tomorrow. That is for the English Premier League. Let's go straight to the Bundesliga. That's in Germany. We see Schalke 04 taking on Bayern Munich. That has to be a key game today, but it's Bayern away from home against Schalke 04. Now we see, of course, yesterday Dortmund beat Cologne 3-1 away from home yesterday. But we see other fixtures. Hoffenheim taking on Werder Bremen. Fortuna Düsseldorf up against Bayer Leverkusen. And tomorrow, that's on Sunday, RB Leipzig will take on Eintracht Frankfurt. So from the German Bundesliga, we're going to the Spanish La Liga. Osasuna takes on Eibar. We see Real Madrid filing out against Real Valladolid today at 6 p.m. And then tomorrow, Barcelona takes on Real Betis. The Barcelona team will be making another attempt to see if they can restart their season better. Okay, they're playing at home this time, but Atletico Madrid are away to Leganés. So away from the Spanish La Liga, let's take a look at other leagues and other fixtures coming up for you today and tomorrow. We're going straight to, do we go to the French league? No, we go to the Italian Serie A, where Parma will be up against Juventus at 5 p.m. today. Remember, Juventus will be without their new manager, Maurizio Sarri, and we see Napoli away to Fiorentina at 7:45. Now, also, AC Milan takes on Udinese away from home tomorrow. We see AS Roma taking on Genoa, and on Monday, Inter Milan will file out against Lecce. So away from there to the French League on, where PSG shocked everyone last week and lost away to Rennes, and let's see if they can remedy that by getting a win against Toulouse. That game will be played tomorrow at 8 p.m. But on that's today. We see Amiens taking on Nantes, and Guest takes on Metz. All games will be kicking off at 7 p.m. That's about 4 games. And tomorrow we see also AS Monaco taking on Nimes. Now, don't forget that AS Monaco has Henry Onyekuru on its payroll, and also the new loan signing that is Islam Slimani from Algeria. So that is it for the fixtures. Let's go straight to the match of the week. I picked Liverpool Arsenal. It's quite early in the season, but we'll be having big games in the English Premier League back to back to back. So we see Liverpool taking on Arsenal. It's Jurgen Klopp against Unai Emery. Let's see how this new season had all pan out. We see matches played, 192 apiece, 71 wins for Liverpool, 68 for Unai Emery's Arsenal. So far between both sides, they have 53 draws and 68 losses to 71 for Liverpool. So Liverpool looks like they have a little of an advantage over Arsenal when you look at the stats from this one. But let's take a look at the players. So far, Liverpool's, okay, head-to-head first. We see games played recently in the last few years, few seasons. You can see what they've done so far. But let's take a look at the strikers. Now, we see Mohamed Salah, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. So far, he's been most informed striker from the two clubs. He scored 2 goals in 2 appearances. Arsenal has gotten 2 wins, but Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, who have played 2 games apiece, they have scored 1 goal each so far in this season. But a slow start does not mean they don't get to win or fight for the top scorers going at the end of the season. So it will be the defenders striking. Of course, Dani Ceballos, Arsenal's Dani Ceballos, has been in the news this week following his fantastic performance for Arsenal the first 2 games of the season. So you need to look at his defensive stats to see how much ground Ceballos has been covering. And everyone comes out to say, oh, Arsenal should not forget that Ceballos is on loan from Real Madrid. He will be returned at the end of the season. Not fair. For now, they have him. If he's going to do a great job, let him do the great job for Arsenal. We'll see how he can, of course, fare up against a Liverpool side that has their eyes set strictly on the Premier League title. There you go. Salah scoring 1 goal in 2 appearances, and Liverpool recording 2 wins, same as Sadio Mane, who scored only 1 goal in 2 matches so far with 2 wins. Now, let's go straight away from all the football talk and take you straight to athletics. Now, Blessing Okagbare, yes, she has gotten the backing of world-renowned athlete movement called Global Athletes. Now, Okagbare, who won gold in the 4x100 meters 4 years ago at the All-Africa Games, has become increasingly vocal about the treatment of Nigerian athletes by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria and the Sports Ministry. Now, the athlete body called Global Athlete in a letter actually came out to say that they will stand side by side with African athletes to ensure that their rights are protected and that, of course, that their basic human rights of speaking up and they don't suffer retribution for their basic human rights of speaking up. So I actually salute the Global Athlete for doing this because no one is coming to stand up for this athlete now. We have a new sports minister, Sunday Dare, and I hope that he will take note of these things. Let's begin to right some of the wrongs that have been going on for so long in sports in this country. So let's go straight to basketball. Another wrong that is going on when it comes to sports in the country. Now, financial loans took on a new meaning this week for me because the Nigerian Basketball Federation this week announced that they took a loan to send the senior men's national team, the Tigers, to China for the World Cup, the 2019 Basketball World Cup. Now, this team has been in camp, but they have been hindered by lack of funds and non-payment of allowances. But the NBBF president, Musa Ahmadu Kida, came out to say that they secured a loan to ensure that the team travels to China to, of course, to take part in the 2019 Basketball World Cup. Now, Nigeria is drawn in Group B alongside Russia, Korea, and Argentina, who we play on August 31st in Wuhan. So, for me, good job. You made the team go to China for the World Cup, money or not, despite the hindrances you have when it comes to finances, but you take a loan. Wow. So the federal government now, let's not even get there. But I hope that the sports minister can take note of things like this and let's work on these things. Let's work on our federations, let's work on our sports structures, and let's improve these things that have been dug in our sports all this while. I'm wrapping up right here on the show. Thank you guys for staying tuned. Keep it locked. More coming your way. Social media trends with Ina, and of course the political segment with Andy and Osasu. More of the talk and more entertainment coming your way on the show. Don't touch your remote. Keep it locked.